What is up, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the EOM Combat Coverage podcast, the faith-based face of the combat space. I'm your host, Zoe Frank, taking over the fight game in Jesus' name, and we got a special episode for you guys today. We have a rare edition of a Sunday episode of the podcast, and that's only because we had an eventful day yesterday. We had a whole lot of events go on in the world of combat sports. We had a boxing event covering Tyson Fury, and we covered Conor Benn versus Regis Prograis. But it's been a minute since we talked UFC, and UFC last night was probably one of the best cards that I've seen this year. It probably was the best card that I've seen this year, honestly. But how we're gonna do it this week, we're gonna have our interview portion this week, which you won't wanna miss. We're also going to go through midweek segments of me breaking down the events that were covered on this past weekend. So if you wanna hear about the boxing, you got that coming this week. If you wanna hear about more in depth about the UFC card that just passed and upcoming UFC cards, we're going to break it down this week. We're also going to be covering Power Slap going on this Friday and a whole lot more. As you guys know, we have this weekend MVP's boxing event headlined by Alicia Baumgardner, also co-headlined by Shadeja Green, another friend of the podcast. And we have a few fighters that we covered earlier on in the month that will be fighting on that card. Connor Attaway and also Alex Vargas. So you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned for that. I'm excited about what's going on. Continue to like, comment, share, subscribe, because we need y'all. As always, Holy Spirit use me, and we're going to get it cracking. Let's go. All right, so like I told y'all, I don't want to dig too deep into what went on this past weekend because we're going to get in that during the week. But just, a matter of the breaking news, the exciting stuff, the stuff that we need to break down right now. I'll start with Gable Steveson, our very own Gable Steveson, friend of Dirty Boxing, friend of our whole family over there, and he officially got announced as a part of the UFC roster last night, and he will be having his first fight, opponent still to be announced, at International Fight Week for the UFC. We already seen this on the horizon. We knew it was coming. Everybody knew it was just a matter of time till the announcement came. We already assumed that it would probably happen for the White House card. His name didn't get dropped for the White House card, but that's also good because he's a draw. He's a massive face in the combat world because of his wrestling background. He was a 2020 Olympian, gold medalist for the USA, and he's finally going to get his crack at a wide open heavyweight division in the UFC. Now on the White House card, we're gonna have our champion crown for the UFC heavyweight division with Tom Aspinall still sidelined from his eye injury. We're gonna have Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane facing off for that heavyweight title. Now it will be a little while before we see Gable compete for the title, but I think that his path to that title run, his path to claim the belt is pretty wide open. This heavyweight division has been stale and stagnant for a long time, and we need a face. We need somebody with a lot of charisma, with a big personality and a name behind them that could carry the division and be a long reigning champion. Alex Pereira, he's up there in age. He's almost 40 years old. He won't be a long reigning champion. He might hold down the belt, but we have somebody young in their 20s like a Gable Steveson who is coming to make noise. I honestly don't think that he will have his opportunity at Pereira, only because I don't see Pereira fighting as long. But I told y'all weeks ago that I feel like Pereira will beat Cyril Gane. And if not, I don't see Cyril Gane being a long reigning heavyweight champion either. We do have Tom Aspinall potentially coming back from this eye injury. No telling how severe it is or was the timeline of his return, but this just made the heavyweight division a lot more exciting in the UFC. To go along with that heavyweight conversation, on last night, we got to see on a main stage Josh Hokett, and he took on a former veteran in the UFC heavyweight division who has also been in title contention for the longest, and he's a household name, Curtis Blades. And hands down, if it's not the greatest heavyweight fight in UFC history, is the greatest one that I've ever seen. It's for sure the greatest one that I've ever seen live. From the opening minute of this fight, I thought someone was going to be put to sleep. You had two heavyweights who normally go out and, it looked like the type of fight that would have been over in a minute. It would have been over in the first minute of the fight. Hokett landed the first big shot, had Curtis Blades rocked. I thought it was going to be over in the first minute. But Curtis Blades fought back. He ended up winning the round. Round 2 was close. Hokett ended up getting the nod for that round. And then round 3, it was just two heavyweights who laid it all on the line, extra exhausted, looking up at the clock, trying to see how long they had left. Both of them wanted to win this fight. It was amazing pace, a pace that I didn't think would be kept, but it proved that Josh Hokett is a face. He's here to stay. Came in unranked, undefeated, beat the number 5 guy in the heavyweight division. He moved into the top 10 with that win. Curtis Blades, this wasn't a complete loss for him. I believe that this was a good looking loss, one that won't do much damage to his career. He'll still be in big fights. This actually proved that he could be exciting, because a lot of the times whenever he gets into fights like this, he tends to go towards his wrestling. But he didn't do that this time. He stood, traded. He went for a few takedowns, but not many, and it didn't go to the ground. It was an excellent performance by both guys. And this fight last night earned Josh Hokett a spot on the UFC White House card. And not just against anybody. Originally, when the card was announced, Derek Lewis was very vocal about wanting to be on the card. Whenever the fight card did get announced, everybody was wondering, where's Derek Lewis? Well, you got Derek Lewis on the White House card, because last night, 10 minutes after the fight, it was announced that Derek Lewis will be fighting on the White House card against Josh Hokett. Now, this card is roughly 2 months away, and Hokett just got into a war. So we'll see if his body is ready. I do think he will be ready. I think, with the money that's going to be paid or thrown his way for the White House card, he's going to be ready no matter what. And not even just that fight, the whole main card was one of the better cards that I've seen in a while. We've got to see Carlos Ulberg. He put on a tremendous show. He really showed us what guts takes. He showed us a bunch of class in that performance. He was just dominant from start to finish. Carlos Ulberg put out a performance that shows that if you want to be a champion, you have to really go and get it, because Yuri Prochazka had him on his back foot. It looked like it hadn't been confirmed yet, but it looked like he pulled something in his hamstring and he couldn't walk on his back foot. Yuri was inching him on, encouraging him to move forward. He was telling him, go out on your shield. We're going to stand and bang. I'm going to allow you the opportunity in a fair fight to just trade, throw hands. I'm not going to go after your leg. I know that you're compromised right now, but let's go at it. And boy, was that a bad decision. Yuri Prochazka, he dropped the ball. He gave up on gold to try to be a good sportsman. And I mean, although it was a nice gesture, now he's going home empty-handed the next day. And Carlos Ulberg has woke up a champion. This city kickboxing team with Coach Eugene Berriman has always been close to gold. They've always been around gold. They have a current champion in Alexander Volkanovski, Israel Adesanya, one of the most decorated middleweights of all time. And now they have a light heavyweight champion in Carlos Ulberg. Now, Carlos Ulberg did sustain a pretty serious injury, so we're not sure what's going to happen there. Is he going to have to vacate his title? Is he going to be one of the ones who is going to be rushed back from an injury just to stay active so that he can defend his title? I do not think that Carlos Ulberg will be able to fight again this year. And I do believe that we will have an interim title already for the light heavyweight belt. And Carlos will have to go up against the interim champion in his return. But I will go into much more detail about that in the coming days. But if you are going after an interim light heavyweight title, putting that belt on the line because Carlos Ulberg is unable to defend, I do believe that you can seriously consider, after one fight in the 205 division, that Paulo Costa could be a name contending for that belt. We'll get into that and much more, but as for now, we have some business to attend to because earlier this week, late last week, we got to speak with our very first Power Slap guest. Now, Power Slap is a promotion that is under the umbrella of the UFC, and people just tend to call it slap fighting. People think that it's crazy. I am one of the ones who believe that it's not a real sport. And I, just wanted to get some more details about it because we have a really good friend of the program and someone who will be contending on the upcoming Power Slap matchup on this Friday that is going to be on this program. So we got to talk to Destiny McCubbin, who is going to be contending on Friday. She's an undefeated power slapper, and she's also a media analyst, journalist. We met at Dirty Boxing in Houston, and I was able to kind of like get the rundown of how the media space works through watching her and others interact on that day. So, we're going to pick her brain about what it's like to be in the power slap world. Also, we're going to just chop it up about what has gone on and transpired in the fight world and what is there to like. What's the new news, and we're not going to prolong it much longer. We're going to get right into that interview with Destiny McCubbin. Hope y'all enjoy. So how you been?
I'm good, man. Just grinding, preparing for this match. I got the call about 4 or 5 weeks ago, so or no, I mean 4 weeks out or so. So yeah, I've just been getting ready for this. And then the whole media side of the game, so doing all that as well. Been covering some big events.
Yeah.
Just hustling, the grind.
Yeah, people are gonna figure out like on this platform that you have an interesting life. Like whenever I met you, you were the first person who I met at the Dirty Boxing event in Houston. And then you don't know this, but you were setting up your tripod outside in that little area and then calling over Mike Perry. And then I was walking in. Like that was my very first time in a space like that. I was there just specifically for photos, photography stuff. But then I seen how y'all was moving, and I was like, man, this is cool. I could do this. So it made
Yeah.
me pull my mic out that day. So I was like, hey, I want to be a part of the family, and then y'all welcomed me with open arms. So I appreciate that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. That was such a fun time. That weekend was like a movie.
Yeah, I know. And then little did I know what it was like a week or two later. I was like, wait, you power slap? Like, I didn't know I was in front of a celebrity this whole time.
Oh, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
So,
Thank
so,
you.
so power slap. I mean, like, I know little about it. I know of it just being around the combat sports space. But,
Mhm.
my peers and like, you could educate me and make me a believer, but feel like it's not a real sport. You can't defend yourself. You're taking hits. Like, what makes you do it? What makes you want to do it?
I don't know if I would necessarily I don't even know if I would call it a sport per se, but it is combat. I will call it combat.
I agree.
Um, yeah. You can't defend yourself in the ways that you would normally defend yourself in a fight, but um but you defend yourself by working on your defense is your chin, your neck, how you take the shot, which I'm very good at that. I work really hard on, well, I come from a boxing background, so I've just always already worked on having a strong neck and a strong chin, things like that. So that's really what I do is just like all my old school boxing training as far as like the neck workouts and stuff like that. Which have not failed me yet. I think I have some of the best defense in the entire promotion. Um, and it's only getting better and stronger, as I need to, because the competition is getting better and stronger as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, my biggest fear is getting knocked out. So I don't sleep on my training when it comes to my defense. Obviously, like I train on my slap and my accuracy and things like that. But yeah, there is actual defense to it. You have to work it, and you have to. I think a lot of people don't, and that's why it looks like there's not defense. That's why people are getting knocked out, because they don't do what they need to do to prevent it.
So like, where did the inspo come from? Like, you were a boxer, learning hit and don't get hit, to getting into a space where the goal is to hit somebody as hard as they can while you can't defend using your hands, let me say. So, like, where did the inspo or the motivation come to be like, well, let me just try this out?
Well, no, trust me, I didn't wake up one day and like, oh, I'm gonna go be a slap fighter. No, my manager called. It was when it first started out. My manager called me and was like, or we're together, and he was like, "Yo, you wanna do power slap?" And I was like, "Nah." You know, being a fighter, coming from the fight game and for such a long time, um, I there wasn't much respect for it. Just like there's a lot more respect for it now as it's grown and things like that. And especially on my end, being a part of it and seeing that there is techniques and things like that, I obviously respect it now. But at first, I didn't either. So yeah, I didn't want to do it. But the money is really good. They pay well, and so that was the inspo. That was the motivation. Was the bag, honestly, and it still is. I wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't a good check at the end of the day.
Is this something you can make a career out of, or is just like until your face can handle it, as long as your
Um,
face can handle it?
I don't think you can make a career out of it because they don't schedule you enough.
Okay.
They're kind of all over the place as far as like they don't. I mean, I guess I've been lucky. I've been scheduled pretty often. Like this is my third time in my third match in less than a year. So I guess I've been lucky, but you just never know when you're gonna, it's like you don't get like a contract. It's not like, oh, here's a 4-fight contract. You're guaranteed you're gonna get 4 matches. So, and then they kind of hit you up last minute too. So it's like a lot of it's in the air. And then obviously it's like it's your chin, it's your brain. So I don't think you can necessarily make a career out of it. I mean, my intentions are to go win tonight, then get the belt, defend the belt, and then let then let the other people have their turn. you
Right.
know?
No, definitely. So like
Yeah.
how is the training camp? So you say you don't have much training time or preparation before you get the call. Are you just staying ready, or do the camps need to be shorter, being that, it's short, the rounds is just like one slap, unless if it's a foul or anything like that. But the rounds are just one slap. So does it take less time of preparation?
I would say you don't necessarily need an 8-week camp like you do when you have a fight. I think 6 weeks and it depends on your weight and stuff too. I mean, and like it also depends on the person. Like I always say, like stuff like this is never one size fits all. Somebody might like a long camp. I personally feel like I don't like too long of a camp even in fighting, but especially slap because it's just it's such a repetitive training for it. It's you go and you do the same thing over and over and over again. So it's gets very tedious, and by the like right now I'm so over it. I'm so over practicing the same thing over and over again, but it's what's necessary. um but I think 4 weeks is a little short, especially if you have weight to make. I think 6 weeks is pretty good. um but yeah, I mean, like, the training isn't as intense for like, but I don't know, just because I've come up as a fighter, like my training is just as intense as it is as I'm preparing for a fight. You know, I'm still hitting, 2 sessions a day on top of my slap training. I'm still in the gym 6 days a week. I don't slouch on any part of the training that is required for it. My slap, my strength conditioning, my neck work, like everything is, to a T. My nutrition is to a T. But I think that just also comes from me coming up as a fighter.
Right.
I know some people don't practice at all and just go out there and do it,
Right,
which
right.
is
And
good
that's
for them. My
that's the
mental won't allow
stigma.
that.
That's the stigma
Yeah.
that we get as outsiders, that they call it a truck driver sport. Yeah, I know you've heard it before, but that is just a bunch
Yeah.
of truck drivers, untrained, that just goes out and slaps each other for money. So
And I think that there probably are people like that, but it shows.
definitely. And now as far as yours go, what hurts worse? A clean shot that is like right on the money, or an illegal blow? Because I've watched both of your matches and I've seen two illegal blows in one match, and that looked like it was pretty, like it could have took you out, honestly. You must have
The
a really
legal blow hit hard. She hit hard. But I don't know. The first girl that hit me didn't hit that. She had clean slaps, but she didn't hit that hard. Um, Honestly, I always say like Meow Ding, if she would have hit me on the chin, who knows what would have happened. I might have sat down, because I was definitely seeing stars after the first illegal shot. And then after the second illegal shot, I thought my eyeball was hanging outside of my head.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't see out of it. It was completely black. I thought my eye was out of my face. But I mean, I think really that was just the power. I think if Zoe would, no shade to Zoe, I love Zoe, and she's definitely gotten better. But I think if Zoe would have hit me the same way that Meow Ding would have hit me, it still wouldn't have been as effective because Meow Ding has power. When she gets that accuracy down, she's a problem. I'm glad I don't got to face her again.
Yeah, no, definitely. And is it a thing where like you are less likely to get a call? Like, let's just say when you were starting off, if you didn't put that performance out, you probably would have never got the call again. Or is it one
Mm,
of those things where, the people who are in it is like a close-knit fraternity and it's revolving?
I think that maybe the people that came up with me, it's like started when I did, maybe are kind of like gonna stay in. I don't know. Because the girl that I beat, the first one, Zoe, she actually got matched for her second time before I did. And she's actually also matched on this card that I'm on as well. So she's also getting her third match and she lost her first one, you know. So I wouldn't necessarily say that, but some people definitely get weeded out. They just don't have the look, or they don't promote it well enough, or they just don't do well up there, you know.
Okay.
There's a lot, it's a lot of politics, I think, in Power Slap.
Yeah. So now this is under the UFC banner. And so you guys are technically in the UFC, would you say?
No, 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 no,
No?
no. I would never disrespect UFC fighters or UFC like that. We're under the umbrella because I think Dana White maybe is like a investor. And I wouldn't say, but like to be honest, I don't really know. I just know that we're under the umbrella, but I wouldn't consider us being a part of the UFC. No, no, absolutely not.
With this matchup in particular that you have scheduled. Um, all right, so when we were at Dirty Boxing, was it you who brought Haley there? Like, did you invite her?
Yes.
So,
Yes, that's my girl. We're
okay,
friends.
guys, look,
I forgot
her
that you were
opponent,
there and we were all there
her
together. That's
opponent
so
is like one of her good friends, and at Dirty Boxing, they were hanging out. She even invited her opponent
I
to Dirty
invited her and I
Boxing.
had her sit with me at the media table. You know, it's funny. So I called her out after my first match because we were both on the our first match was on the same card together. We were in the same corner, and she was this loud little girl, you know, and had a lot of followers, promotes herself well. Power Slap loved her, and she went up before me. She had a good performance. And then right when I was about to walk out to go do my thing, she was in the back getting interviewed, and I was like, I know business when I see business. Why would I not? That's a bag right there, you know? And so I called her out, and then it was like at first, like we didn't get that close right away, but we talked on Instagram for a long time. Well, then she moved to Vegas, so we started hanging out, and we're two of the same people, you know. We're cut from the same cloth. She's cool, she's down, she's 10 toes down for sure. I got love for her, like mad love for her, like that's my friend, like literally. And so really did not expect us to be matched because I actually called out the Hawaiian girl, Hurricane T, and I really thought that they were gonna match us because we were like putting on a whole thing for it, you know. And then I got a text asking if I could make weight, and I was like, yeah. And then they didn't even text me and tell me like, hey, check your email or we sent you a contract. I just happened to check my email and I had a contract in there, and I was like, what the hell? So I look at it and I'm looking. I go to two things. I look for two things: a name and my money. Make sure everything is right. I see my money's right, cool, look for the name. I was like, oh my God, it said Haley James. And I text her and I was like, did you see your contract? And she's all, oh my God, it's you. And I'm like, yeah, they did us dirty. And you know, it's WrestleMania week, which obviously she's like a wrestling phenom. She's gonna be like, this stuff is all just kind of like patty cake to her. Like, you know, you hear again, she's just like me, like here for the bag. And she's gonna go off and be a wrestling superstar in the WWE. Like, I have no doubt about that. Um, But that being said, it's WrestleMania week. On any other day of the mother freaking year, I would want nothing more than for her to go out there and shine on WrestleMania week. And it just
Exactly.
really sucks that I got to be the person that stops that.
So does like the promotion, the promo, does that come with additional money, or do you get the same purse like per fight on the
Nah,
level that you're on?
I nah, I haven't gotten a raise still. I
Okay.
mean, the money's good, so I'm not gonna complain, but
Hmm.
I ain't got a raise. But I am gonna get a bonus, so I will
I was
get more
just about
money.
to ask that if you get bonuses, fight bonuses for your performance, but okay. And also this should have been a main card fight. A main
I
card. Is
know.
it called a fight? Like what do you call it? match?
I never
It's,
did. I never did. I still keep it respectful to the fight world and try and will like sometimes I slip out calling it a fight because I just think being in it now, it's being my third time and just being in those emotions, it's the same fight emotions, And like I said, I to me it's real combat because I'm going out there to knock her out. She's coming out here to knock me out. You know what I mean? So I look at it as combat, but I don't know. I call it a match, a competition. Yeah, match week, slap week, I guess.
now, who currently holds the
Slap
belt
fight.
at y'all division, in y'all division?
No, nobody. So there's no belt yet. And so Ellie Dempster beat Holly Hood in October. She knocked her out. She and Paige Van Zant were supposed to be scheduled, but Paige Van Zant don't want to do it. Paige Van Zant don't want to be in Power Slap, but she keeps
She
bringing
can't keep
Frank and
y'all
them
name
along.
out her mouth.
Dude, she's like, I'm like, just tell them you don't want to do it so we can move on. Because they want her and Ellie to go for the belt, but it's like, okay, even if they freaking go for the belt and say Paige wins, then what? We're all just sitting here like we're all gonna be here like sitting ducks because it's hard enough to get her to compete for the belt, let alone how are we gonna get her to defend it if she wins? That's if she wins. I don't think she wins. I think Ellie beats her regardless. But anyway, so that's kind of what it is. But in regular combat sports, how it would be is if I go out here and I get this win, then it should be me and Ellie going for the belt. But Power Slap don't always do things to the book. So who knows what they're gonna do if they'll do it that way. But it should I go get this win, match me and Ellie. I'm hoping and like what I'm seeing is a first round knockout, not even getting touched because I won the coin toss. I would really like to just go out there and get it done in one. Then I'm healthy. Match me and Ellie July 10th for International Fight Week, and I go get my belt on July 10th.
I like the call. I like the call. Now, John Dotson's wife, she's in y'all division as well.
She is Chelsea Dodson. That's my girl.
Okay, and is she one of the elites in the division? Is she one of the names that's up for grabs in the title picture?
Yeah, 100%. She's extremely slept on in the division. Um, she obviously had that nose break from PETA, but then she's been out ever since. And yeah, she's super slept on though. But like, I know that girl's been working quietly, so I think she's gonna come out and have a dominating fashion. I think it'll be devastating. She's going against Zoe, the girl I beat the
Okay,
first
yeah,
time. Yeah. So yeah, I think she's gonna do well. I don't think she should be on the prelim early or the untelevised prelims, let alone she's the first fight of the night, which is crazy to me. Like put some respect on the
ridiculous.
girl's name. Put some
Exactly.
respect on the girl's
I'm
name, bro.
telling
On
you,
both of them. They got these two new girls later on in the card than them, and they got Zoe and Chelsea who have had this is both their third, maybe fourth match for Chelsea, and you got them first fight. That's crazy to me.
ridiculous. Now, side note, on to something else. You did say that your manager hooked you up with the opportunity, presented you the idea of performing in slap, power slap. So, aside from that, I know you said you train boxing, and I know this, but as far as the people getting to know you, how did you compete? What did you compete in prior to being a part of power slap? Because you did say that you train 6 days a week, not a regular
Mhm.
power slap would do that. You follow a diet and everything that goes into your training. Who are you?
Yes. Yeah, so I've been fighting since 2015. I started boxing and then I went to MMA and then I kind of did both at one time. But yeah, I mean I have 10 MMA fights, 6 boxing fights, couple jiu-jitsu competitions, and now 3, I think I was counting it. I think this is my 19th combative competition for when I get up there for
You're a legend in
in
the
for
sport.
power slap.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I have been in this game for a long time. I'm not, I was never the greatest, I wasn't that good, but I just am a fighter, it's in me. It's in my spirit. And, even when I'm like, I always train, even if, I don't know what's going on. I'm interested in doing dirty boxing. That's really what I'm interested in. So I've been doing a lot of boxing, my manager put my name kind of in the hat, but they don't do flyweight. They only do bantamweight, which is
right.
really big for me. I don't really don't want to fight at 135, especially like that's like fighting Rain Guerrero, which
Right. Yeah.
she's that's a big girl, man.
Yeah.
She, Des is a normal flyweight, so that's kind of how I feel like, that's how it would look for me being
And
in there
Des
with
kind of had
somebody.
some size on her too. I don't know if she put size on for that match or if she really holds that weight, but yeah,
Des
those
was
are some
light.
bigger girls.
I think she weighed in underweight too on that for that fight. So
Hmm.
yeah, 35 is just big. That's
Yeah.
like I don't know. I wouldn't I don't want to do anything at 135. I don't want to fight at 130. People are like, "Why don't you slap at 135 so you don't have to cut weight?" Why would I do that? I don't want to fight at 135. Why would I get slapped at 135?
No, definitely. They can match you up with B Nguyen. She's small. I think
Who?
B, Killer B.
Oh, I would love that fight.
Yeah,
I
that
would
would be a good
love that
matchup.
fight.
That's a good
Yeah.
size. It seems like
We
she
don't really care
struggles
for
to
each
make that
other
weight.
too much.
Oh, cool. That's perfect then.
Yeah,
Let's
I
set it
know. I
up.
would love that fight. I
Who I
don't think
need,
she would take
who
it.
I need to talk to? Get Johnny Bones, get Mike Perry on the line.
I know, right? Hey, we got a little storyline here, man. Let's line it up.
Exactly. They need to build these things up more, man. Do you think like the Paramount deal with the UFC has been like, I don't know. It seems like to the public, you're not hearing as much about like the upcoming events, the big events like ESPN did. With ESPN, you would see it everywhere. Now, if I'm like on Amazon or something, I'll hear about the Paramount. Obviously, we're freaks of the sport. We follow it heavily, so we know what's going on. But just on the casual pass by, you don't really see it as much. Have you noticed that?
Um, I guess not, honestly, because I'm so into everything that I see it everywhere. So I guess I
Mhm.
probably haven't noticed that. Um, I don't know. I guess I could see that as like a regular fan or bystander that maybe like if you're not, getting everything on your socials or if you're not even on Paramount Plus, maybe. But I've kind of liked the Paramount deal. I think it's great. I like it. I just love being able to watch all the fights for free,
Yeah,
basically.
definitely.
That's so nice.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, I mean, they seem like they're doing well. And then you got obviously everything under the umbrella. You got UFC, Zuffa. I covered Zuffa boxing last night, and a lot of the fighters really loved the way they were treated, with Zuffa and Paramount and stuff. So
Yeah, that's really legit how you are able to move around in that space because you're not originally from Vegas, right?
correct. I'm from Utah, northern Utah.
And what made you make that transition?
Fighting. I came here for fighting.
You were a fighter at the time you came, or you were just trying to infiltrate the space at that time?
No, I was a fighter. I started fighting in 2015 and I moved here in 2017.
Okay.
I kind of just outgrew where I was at. I needed to come out here and be with like the best.
Yeah. Now, with the arms you're locking with and the promotions that you're in good with, are you invited to certain spaces that a normal person wouldn't? Like, let's say, for instance, the PI. Do you have access to get training in the PI, or so what goes for you? Like, what's
I
allowed?
wouldn't normally say that I have my own access, but all I gotta do is make a phone call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, as far as Zuffa goes, Zuffa boxing is growing. I know it. The names aren't quite there yet, but the highlights, you can't story that. The highlights,
Mhm.
every show seems like they have a viral moment on it. Do you think they need more names, or they just need to keep this same trend going for them to grow at a good pace?
I think that they're signing names, and I think that as the number of cards, they're going to start adding in the bigger names. I think they're kind of trying to get their flow, get their name out there, gain more fans using fighters that aren't big names, and then they're going to drop the bigger names. Like May 10th, I don't know if you've seen May 10th, they dropped Shane Mosley Jr. as the main event.
Yep, I
You
saw it.
know, so they signed Andy Ruiz. Like they're definitely working, and like like the promotion and the behind the scenes, it's beautiful. Like I was there last night and the energy was great. It's at the Meta Apex, which is kind of small. I don't know if you've been there yet, but it's pretty small in there. I don't know how long they'll be able to do it there. I think they're definitely going to outgrow that, especially when they start getting big names,
Yeah.
because it's pretty tight already. Like I don't they won't be able to have it at the Apex for long, I don't think. But yeah, I think Zuffa is a great thing. I think it's going to be, I think I love it. I think it's great for these boxers. Another promotion, another big promotion. And literally every fighter had nothing good but good things to say about how they were treated. The best they've ever been treated in their entire careers. So I thought that was really cool.
Do you think that's wrong that the UFC's been around for as a combat promotion for the longest, and you have fighters like, let's just use MVP just because he was the most recent, saying that, I came here because I wanted to stay active. I know I'm getting up there in age and I wanted to be treated like one of the best. And, he's not feeling like he's valued. Whereas, you're getting all this behind the boxers, and it's already been a problem to where boxers, the elite boxers, got paid way more than the elite MMA guys, and you have a strictly MMA foundation bringing on a boxing promotion and following that same trend. Would you feel played if you were an MMA fighter under the UFC banner if you were to witness Zuffa boxing being born? Let's just say a middle
Probably.
of the pack guy, like, somebody who's in title contention, let's say, who's getting paid okay, but seeing these new guys come in and make way more than them.
I understand his feelings. I do. But also the fight game is just cutthroat. That's just what it is. And he didn't put on a great performance in his last fight. If you want, I understand you've been in the game, you've been here, and you do deserve more and respect. So I'm not saying he don't, but if you want it, you have to take it. And that performance that he put on last time isn't going to get him what he wants.
Yeah. And I know prior to that performance, he was beating the same drum. So I'm not sure if is that in particular that, it's just that he's boring now, or if, I don't know what the case is for him in
I mean, he's
particular.
getting older, you
He
know,
is, and he's running out of
and you got
time.
to think the like I talk about this all the time, the evolution of the fight game, these young cats coming up and catching up to these older veteran dogs, you know, you got to be able like that is when you got to get in where you fit, and you got to be able to stick with these these younger fighters and stay with them, or that's like that's just the evolution of the game. You're gonna you get pushed out, and I think that's just really what it is. So maybe that could be what's happening, but you have to show up every time because there's so many fighters that want to be in your place, you know?
Uh, yeah, and there's a lot of young guys that's hungry. That I mean,
And
you no, his most
sorry.
recent opponent, no, you're good. His most recent opponent was one of those guys that they figured would be primed for that spot. They want him out. They want to take him out,
Hmm.
but
Yeah. I mean, you got to think they're probably paying him a pretty good purse, get him out of there. They could sign three other fighters, paying them each equaling to what they were paying him.
correct.
Like so you have to really show up to keep your place in the game, especially at that level in the UFC, because UFC is they're quick. Like I said,
Mhm.
there's a million of us. There's a million of these fighters that they can
Yeah,
replace you with.
definitely. We're gonna get you out here in a minute, but I just want to touch a few more topics with you.
Yeah,
Um,
no worries.
Cage Side Press, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm loving it. It's been the best thing for my growth and everything. And like now I'm getting credentials, which is awesome. I remember there was a
Yeah,
time when I never thought I would. So,
yeah.
um, that's really cool. We're starting off slow, just doing like UFC BJJ and now Zuffa. But yeah, it's ran by Eddie Law, and Eddie's amazing. He's like just taking me under his wing. He's a great mentor. And now they have me doing journalism, so I'm actually writing now. I was touching everything except for that side of it, side of the reporter side was like the writing part. So doing that is really cool. Yeah, I love it. I'm just glowing and growing with them, and um, what's cool about Eddie is like, and Cage Side Press is it's not like, oh, like you're here with us and like it's always like they just look at it like I want to see you grow. And he's like, you're not gonna be here forever, Destiny. Like you're so good. Like you really are good. You will eventually blossom and go much further than what I have to offer you. But I'm glad to be somebody that can help you get there. And I think that's really great.
So they're fine with like the cage side press and everything like that, the in the corner and everything like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's good. Now, as far as cage side, I mean, not what I'm saying is cage side in the corner. As far as in the corner goes, like, do you have any big plans for us? I've seen that you've been keeping it interesting with us with the Technique Tuesday and everything like that. You've been going to different gyms. How's that been?
I'm trying. I'm really trying. It's a hard thing to, I started a year ago. Uh, it's like a year and like a week. It'll be a year that I started it. And In the Corner is my baby, I love In the Corner, and I'll always continue to do it. But it's a hard thing to do, to like really get popular. But I've been fortunate enough to have the names on that I have, and I think that's just because I've come up and my name has a lot of respect in the game. It's like I get these bigger names willing to come on and talk to me, so that's awesome. Um, but yeah, I'll just continue In the Corner, continue to grow it. I have plans for like Technique Tuesday eventually, and it'd be awesome, for In the Corner to get picked up one day by somebody big that wants to, be a part of it. But until then, like I'm fine doing my thing, and I'm In the Corner has helped me grow a lot as well.
Were you able to build these relationships with the people through your fighting career, or was it through your media career? Did fighting make it easier to build these relationships, or was it something that when you moved to Vegas, it was just like, okay, I know where rooms to get in to be able to have access to these people?
No, fighting definitely built all these relationships for sure. I met so many people over the years, and even if it was just like a quick introduction, they remember me, for when I do like reach out again. So yeah, fighting definitely built this path and platform for me for sure.
What was your surreal moment as far as a interviewer that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I just talked to this person?
Ooh, probably Nate Diaz and John Jones.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
seen I,
you're
I seen you had Nate Diaz recently, John Jones. You talked to
yes,
what Floyd Mayweather Sr. Like
yes.
last
Thank
thing that
you.
last thing that I want to talk about is the MVP. Um, we got the announcement and it was a big deal on everybody's timeline, and you gave a big breakdown. And I think you knew something already. I think you knew something before everybody else did about this. But the Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey matchup, tell us your thoughts
I
on it,
had
your take on it.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I had an inkling. Gina Carano is at my gym. Um, but Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love what MVP is doing. I think they're great. I think they're paying these fighters money, which is what we want to see. And I love it. Like obviously the UFC is it, but not everybody can get to the UFC. So if there's another promotion that's putting you on and paying you, then what the heck, UFC is not everything. Like I understand it's the name, it's the brand, but these people might be signing them at more than what UFC does. So I think go get your bag, go put your name on the map. I think it's great. I love that run. Everybody says this is a washed up fight that we don't need. I completely disagree. I absolutely love this matchup. I've been yearning for this matchup for 10 years. So I'm really excited. I love the respect factor between the two. I think earlier in the years, Ronda was a little, mean sometimes. So I think it's really cool how she's being. And just seeing Gina back is awesome. And then obviously we've got Nate Diaz, Mike Perry. That's gonna be a banger. You know what I mean? I think that Nate Diaz and Mike Perry is an absolute banger. The whole card is great. I got a couple teammates. Brandon Jenkins versus Chris Avilo is on there. I think Brandon's gonna freaking mop him up. We got Kenny Cross on the card. Kenny Cross is an up and coming star. I think he's gonna blow up after this. So I'm excited for the card. I might even be covering it. So stay tuned for that.
Ooh, that'll be awesome. I'm trying to get my hands on that one. I interviewed a few fighters on that card, and I've also interviewed a few on this upcoming Alicia Baumgartner card as well. So I've been trying to make some things happen on the Ronda Rousey and Carano card. I'm interested in the Roble de Spain versus Junior Dos Santos. That
Oh
fight right
yeah.
there, man. Roble, he shows signs. I mean, I don't think he was given a fair shake with the opponents that they matched him up with in the UFC, but I think this is a matchup that'll show that he is actually talented. The matchmaking has been amazing for sure.
It has. And I think one thing about Jake Paul is he does take care of the fighters.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, just any words of encouragement, any motivation to anybody who is coming up in the space that's trying to find their footing in the fight game, whether it be a reporter, whether it be a fighter. What message would you have to someone just to inspire, motivate them? Anything about, you know?
Just work hard and be consistent every single day. It doesn't come overnight, and sometimes it doesn't come soon at all. And sometimes you might, if you're, you might not get a lot of views, you might not get a lot of likes, it might seem like nobody cares. Just keep doing it. Just keep putting your name out there. Say your name, make people know your name. Like, I feel like I made a big imprint, like, hey, what's up, guys? This is Destiny. This is In the Corner with Destiny McCubbin. I made it known to the point where people are like, oh shit, you're the girl that does In the Corner, So just put yourself out there, be consistent, be annoying. Like, who cares? And shoot your shot. That's what I always say. Just ask, because if you might get a million no's, but you might get one really important yes. So train hard, work hard, and shoot your shot. Dream for the stars.
That was my conversation with Destiny McCubbin. That's a true peer in the space that I'm in right now. We get to feed off of each other, fire back dialogue. I get to kind of like see what's the inside scoop of things going on in the fight world from a main stage through her. And I appreciate the commentary. I appreciate the back and forth and the more in-depth dialogue of what is really about the power slap world. A lot that I've learned just from that conversation about power slap. I am in tune, I am interested, and I will be checking it out on Friday night. And praying for success, great health, and that Destiny comes out victorious. So we will be covering it, and also we will be recapping it on next week's episode. But like I said, this won't be the last that you guys see of me this week. I really enjoyed the time. I really enjoyed this episode. This was a fun one to make. Hey, I'll start sending out the suggestions and the requests, because not this week's episode, but the following week, we'll be doing another question and answer. So get those questions in. We're going to limit it to 10, but if I get through them quickly, I will go for more. But I appreciate you guys as always. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You guys are great, amazing. I couldn't do this without y'all. I appreciate y'all. God bless. We'll see y'all next week.